Hello, this is Steve McDonald with the League of Women Voters of San Francisco, here to discuss Proposition L, a ballot measure which is going to be voted on by the citizens of San Francisco on November 2nd.
Proposition L is a measure that prohibits sitting or lying on a public sidewalk in San Francisco between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m., with certain exceptions such as medical emergencies, authorized protests, festivals, and parades.
I'm here with Paul Beaudin with the Western Regional Advocacy Project and in opposition to Proposition L. And Paul, what is it that you find in opposition to Proposition L?
Just about everything with it. It's a very broad, very draconian, very discriminatory piece of legislation that is being put forth before the voters at a point in time when it's really more about dividing people up to get conservative candidates elected as part of the Newsom campaign than it is about the public safety of the people that live here. And that's deceitful, it's dishonest, and it's a kind of politics that I think we're all sick of and we'd all like to see go away.
Paul, if the measure is passed, how do you see it impacting the citizens of San Francisco?
I think if the measure's passed right now, we could just assume it's going to get tied up in the court. And as with other laws similar to this one in Seattle, which they say is their example of how to do this and do it right, it was found unconstitutional by the courts. And that's what we mean about the cynicism here. This is about, aren't you all sick of homeless people? Aren't you intimidated by the poverty that you see all around you? Care Not Cash didn't fail. It's just we don't have enough laws to make homeless people disappear. And this is the kind of scapegoating politics that we've seen going back to the Feinstein administration. Until we start addressing poverty at the national level, like we did with the New Deal, like we've done when there's been massive homelessness before in our country, until we start addressing that, no mayor is going to solve homelessness. What they do is they use the police and they use private security guards to try to make homeless people disappear. And we need to stand up and say, enough's enough. You can't tell us, all of us in this city, it's illegal to sit on a sidewalk. That's not going to be enforced against everybody. It's not going to create a safer environment. It's just going to mean another law that penalizes poor people because the cops don't want to see them around, the business groups don't want to see them around, and that's why this didn't pass the Board of Supervisors. That's why so many clubs in this town have come out against it. It's classist, it's mean, it's racist, and it's mean-spirited. We just need to make sure that this does not become what San Francisco stands for.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. In a moment, we'll hear from a supporter for Proposition L. And now I'm with Kent Urahara, a small business owner on Haight Street, who's going to speak in support of Proposition L. Kent?
Yes.
What are the reasons you support Proposition L today?
Well, as a small business owner on Haight Street, over the years I've experienced firsthand a lot of episodes of hostility and incivility from people that choose to hang out throughout the day or night on the sidewalks. And initially I thought it was just confined to the Haight, but what I found with some investigation is that this is it's a neighborhood by neighborhood citywide issue that a lot of people, a lot of San Franciscans are fed up with and frustrated. And the reason why it's on the ballot now is because the Board of Supervisors chose that public safety wasn't an important enough of an issue in San Francisco to deal with directly, so they tried to squash it, and now the mayor is put it on the ballot to allow the people to basically vote and speak and decide what's best for San Franciscans. And
if you see it passed, what do you believe are going to be the impacts to the citizens of San Francisco?
Well, the intention is that that we'll see a improvement throughout the city, from block to block of, for one, less people congregating on the sidewalk, but most importantly, that in turn you're going to have more civility. You're going to have a return to civility throughout San Francisco. San Francisco obviously is a very caring, compassionate city, and the city invests tens of millions of dollars into the homeless and other, obviously other nonprofit issues. But there needs to be a balance. And I think that that's where somehow it seems that certain people in San Francisco have become more entitled, at least this feeling of entitlement, I guess in turn causes these actions that they do on the streets and what have you. So yeah, so we hope that it has a very positive effect on the city. Otherwise, we wouldn't put this much effort into it. You know, I think also too that the Proposition L is it's a coalition of San Franciscans, people that basically care about how the city is, and that, you know, it's represented by obviously merchants, obviously by residents throughout the city, but as well as that we have the elderly, we have the disabled. It's basically anyone that wants to just have a return to more of a public safety kind of inspired environment in San Francisco.
Thanks, Kent.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I hope this has been interesting. If there's any other need for information, go to the League of Women Voters website at sfvotes.org, and don't forget to vote November 2nd.